Number 10. Jeff Lewis. This feud could also be put down to friendly neighborhood rivalry, but it highlighted just how much of a nightmare it would be if you had to have MGK living right next door. It all started on Sirius XM's Radio Andy show when Jeff Lewis called out Machine Gun Kelly as a local troublemaker in his neighborhood. Lewis exposed his not-so-neighborly behavior. Quote, "Now I have no issue with this guy, but there's tension brewing. He said it's actually going to turn into the movie Neighbors, and that he's Zac Efron, which means that I'm effing Seth Rogen." Lewis then took a swing at Kelly's hardcore lifestyle. Quote, "I've learned a lot about him. At 5 p.m, that to them is day drinking. He had a big cake in the shape of a guitar. They still park in front of the fire hydrant. They park in front of people's driveways. I think they're so effed up that they just stop the car wherever it lands." But despite the criticism, Lewis insists that he doesn't hate the rapper and his friends. It's only his other neighbors that do, because they complain about it all the time. But before the feud escalated, MGK sent a bottle of Dom Perignon to Lewis as a friendly truce and said, "I wish we could have a chance to meet. If you ever need anything, just come knocking. Cheers, neighbor." Number 9. Halsey. The rapper was linked to Halsey in March of 2017 when they were spotted at a beach together. Photos of their tropical outing resurfaced in July of 2018, prompting Halsey to deny the dating rumors. 2 months after she debunked the relationship, MGK confirmed that they weren't dating but had previously been intimate. The rapper seems to be consistently embroiled in a series of gross, tedious, and self-promotional feuds with other rappers, but he was also unable to be respectful to his ex and not discuss their private business on air. The rapper went on the Breakfast Club radio show interview that was hosted by DJ Envy, Angela Yee, and Charlemagne the God. At the time, Halsey's boyfriend G-Eazy was already taking shots at him through his music, so when Charlemagne inquired if MGK really smashed Halsey, he just said yes. Now, you think that he might respond to that question with "none of your business"? He did absolutely no such thing, and it was incredibly disrespectful. So what was Halsey's response to this mess? She tweeted, "How absolutely pathetic." But the singer seems to be doing great these days and recently welcomed a baby with her screenwriter boyfriend Alev Aydin. Number 8. Corey Taylor. If you're a rock or metal fan, chances are you've heard at least something about the feud that's been going on between Slipknot's Corey Taylor and Machine Gun Kelly. The beef started in February last year when Corey did an interview with Cutter's Rockcast where he dissed MGK's change in musical direction. Quote, "I hate all new rock for the most part. Well, the artist who failed in one genre and decided to go rock, and I think he knows who he is, but that's another story." Not long after, both artists performed at the Riot Fest, and MGK took a swing at Corey on stage. Quote, "Hey, you wanna know what I'm really happy that I'm not doing? Being 50 years old wearing an effing weird mask on an effing stage," and claimed that he was talking smack. The diss immediately went viral online and people were criticizing Kelly left and right for his comments. He tried hard to defend himself, claiming that he was just responding to Corey's criticism, and explained that the rockstar had recorded a verse for his album, Tickets to My Downfall, that he didn't end up using, and accused him of being bitter over the situation. Then the Slipknot vocalist fired back, saying that he doesn't like airing his private business like a child, and came with receipts against Kelly's claims. It was truly a mic drop moment.
Number 7. Lindsay Lohan. Actress and on-again, off-again ex-girlfriend of Jared Leto, Lindsay Lohan obviously knows the guy pretty well considering all the time they spent together, especially when they co-starred in the movie Chapter 27 where Jared Leto played John Lennon's killer. Back in 2016, Lohan threw shade at Leto in regards to his portrayal of the Joker in Suicide Squad. On Instagram, she posted a collage of actors who had portrayed the character, including Leto, Heath Ledger, Jack Nicholson, and notably Brandon Lee in the movie The Crow. In the caption, she said, "Who wore it better? Who based his whole music and film career on the film The Crow?" accusing Leto of having ripped off the portrayal of the character from Brandon Lee's. Lohan also added, "Every man's got a devil and you can't rest until you find him. A Suicide Squad movie is not helping the world but hurting people. Anger is not an answer for peace." So yeah, it doesn't seem like the two are still friends after their last split.
Number 6. Brian Austin Green. When some celebrity couples split, they are looking forward to blending their families as they move on to new partners. That doesn't seem to be the case when it comes to Brian Austin Green and ex Megan Fox. When Megan and MGK publicly announced their engagement on the 12th of January, a year and a half after dating, they shared the news alongside a video of the proposal. But an insider source close to the 90210 star spoke to Entertainment Tonight, revealing that he wasn't bothered about it at all. In fact, he apparently couldn't care less about their engagement. Quote, "He doesn't have any lingering romantic feelings for Megan or any anger. Brian is happy for her, but it really isn't affecting him one way or another. There There is no bad blood or ill will between them at this point. The source went on to add that Brian mainly feels indifferent towards the engagement and is glad he and Meghan are co-parenting well together. The former couple, who announced their split in May of 2020, began dating in 2004 and share 3 children together. However, Brian is not exactly jumping up and down at the prospect of Kelly becoming a stepfather. Number 5. Remy Ma. The rapper sparked an interesting discussion on the internet on the show Drink Champs when she told the world that she didn't think Doja Cat was a rapper. In March, one of the hosts on the podcast casually referred to Doja's music and called her a female rapper, to which Remy Ma responded, quote, "I don't think she's a rapper. Let's be clear with that. They put her in the rapper category. I don't think she's a rapper, but she makes dope records, and I think she's dope." While she clearly praised Doja Cat, it was also apparent why some fans would not like what she said. After the episode aired, hateful comments started to come in left and right, but it was mostly Doja's fan base that started attacking Remy for her opinion. In fact, the online backlash that Remy got just for discussing Doja's genre of music landed her in so much hot water that she brought it up months later. During a recent interview on Black Compass Media, Remy was talking about wanting to bring more female rappers into the battle rap scene, and the host said, "Yo Remy, you trying to line up Doja Cat?" To which she quickly replied, quote, "Don't even bring her up. I thought I was giving her a compliment. Her whole entourage or fan base came for my life. And I was like, I thought I said something good." But the whole incident just pointed out how toxic Doja's fan base can be and how quick they are to attack people around her for no good reason. Number 4. Miller McCormick. Machine Gun Kelly's film, originally called Good News, wasn't sitting well with the brother of late rapper Mac Miller. Kelly played the lead role in the film, a tortured rapper whose story takes its inspiration from the arcs of such contemporary artists like Mac Miller, Lil Peep, Pop Smoke, and even Juice WRLD. But in response to the announcement, Miller shared a social media message seemingly criticizing the project. Quote, "F you, F your movie, at least change the title." He particularly took umbrage with the movie's title, as Good News was Mac's first single from his January 2020 album Circles. The movie also alluded to the tragedy that was the late rapper's death in 2018 due to illicit substances at the age of 26. In response, the production company Riverlet Media issued a statement, quote, "Our film is about a fictional musician on the rise with a troubled life. It's not in any way a biopic or based on any artist's true life. We realize the title, which was intended as an homage to Mac Miller and other artists gone too soon, feels disrespectful." The title was then changed to Taurus and was released earlier this year, although it's clear that Miller didn't appreciate Kelly's on-screen portrayal of his brother at all.
Number 3. Todd Phillips. When director Todd Phillips recreated the character again in his dark 2019 film Joker, Jared Leto got a little bit angry. There was more beef than a cow farm. Apparently, when Suicide Squad came out, Leto had been promised his own solo Joker movie, though things obviously changed over the course of production and following the film, as Leto's time in Suicide Squad was severely cut down from the original plan, leaving him with only around 10 minutes of screen time in the film. He had been planning to be a main character and seemed to push himself a bit too far. A source saying, in his defense, it was never really his movie, but his attempt to invent a place for himself in it backfired. When he heard about the new movie not featuring him, he had complained to his agents and even requested that his music manager call the company and get the film called off. Phillips obviously made the right decision in choosing to move forward with a different actor for the character, as his movie performed well and got mostly completely positive reviews.
Number 2. Gabrielle Rodriguez. 2 members of Machine Gun Kelly's crew have been arrested after they allegedly attacked Gabrielle Rodriguez, better known as G-Rod. According to TMZ reports, Brandon Allen and John Capoletti turned themselves into authorities a full year after the alleged incident occurred at a Hampton Inn hotel in Georgia. There is actual CCTV footage showing those members of MGK's crew violently attacking the 41-year-old actor in a hotel lobby. As a result, they were both charged with misdemeanor battery causing substantial harm. According to Rodriguez, the attack happened as a sort of revenge because he confronted MGK for making those creepy comments about Eminem's daughter when she was 16 at the time. The publication also obtained a video of Rodriguez explaining why he called out the rapper. Quote, "I'm gonna say it because it has to be said. You're a pussy for going for my family." He proceeded to call him a coward after the attack and claimed he filed a lawsuit against the rapper for allegedly instructing his crew to carry out the attack. Rodriguez also sued the hotel for negligence, but MGK's crew only got a slap on the wrist for the whole incident. And coming in at number 1, Eminem. To set the scene for this feud, we have to go back a whole decade. In 2012, MGK tweeted about Eminem's daughter, Haley Mathers, and it wasn't exactly what any father would want to hear. Quote, "Okay, so I just saw a picture of Eminem's daughter, and I have to say, she is hot as F." And he said this despite the fact that, yes, she was 16 at the time. Kelly claimed in a radio interview a few years later that some critics wouldn't review his work because of his comments about Haley, alleging that Eminem blacklisted him from several radio stations because of the tweet. The two rappers went on to diss each other on a number of different tracks, including Eminem's Not Alike, where he says that Kelly is only trying to keep up his tough demeanor and goes on to criticize the rapper's comments about his daughter. But the diss tracks reached a whole new level when MGK released a song titled Rap Devil, calling Eminem sober and bored and making fun of his age. After rather a lot of back and forth, Eminem completely obliterated him in an interview. Quote, "Like I'm trying to hinder his career. I don't give an F about your career. You think I actually effing think about you? Do you know how many effing rappers are better than you? You're not even in the effing conversation." So with all things considered, that was a pretty epic burn.
Starting off, we got Taylor Swift. Jake Gyllenhaal has come back into the spotlight purely because of Taylor Swift's recent 10-minute release of her hit song All Too Well. The first version was 5 minutes, but for the re-release of the album Red, she included the original length of the song, which was 10 minutes. In the song, Taylor is agonizing over a past relationship and singing about her heartbreak. From the Easter eggs she's given us, her fanbase has widely regarded this relationship was with actor Jake Gyllenhaal. Swift, now 31, dated Gyllenhaal, now 40, for 3 months in late 2010. She then channeled her emotions to make the hit album Red in 2012. Taylor also released a short film along with a 10-minute version of the song, and cast Dylan O'Brien, who is 30, and Sadie Sink, who is 19, in the All Too Well short film, which happens to be a very similar age difference to her and Jake Gyllenhaal during their relationship. Taylor calls out Jake in the line, quote, "And I was never good at telling jokes, but the punchline goes, I'll get older, but your lovers stay my age." This line especially hits hard since Jake is currently dating a woman 16 years younger than him. In the song, she says that apparently Jake Gyllenhaal claimed that they might still be together if they were closer in age. Even though most people are on Taylor's side, many are criticizing how harshly that she's painting Jake, as it was only a 3-month relationship, but it's widely believed that Jake Gyllenhaal was her first real boyfriend, so clearly very pivotal to her life. In the song, Swift references an unnamed actress who caught her, quote, weeping in a party bathroom and asked what happened. Fans have speculated the actress was Jennifer Aniston at the People's Choice Awards, but of course nothing's been confirmed. Another line of the song paints a picture of Jake not showing up to Taylor's 21st birthday party. The line goes, quote, "You who charmed my dad with self-effacing jokes, sipping coffee like you're on a late night show, but then he watched me watch the front door all night, willing you to come, and he said, it's supposed to be fun turning 21. In response to the new version of the song and all the negative media attention that he's getting, Jake Gyllenhaal is apparently mortified. A source claimed, quote, "Jake is mortified that Taylor is targeting him in All Too Well. He's such a private person and goes out of his way to avoid drama, so having their 3-month fling dragged up in this song and hearing people gossip about it is a hard pill for him to swallow."
Next up, Jeremy Renner. Clearly, Brie Larson is not very good in interviews, and she had another awkward interaction with her co-star Jeremy Renner during an interview. The topic of discussion was being a celebrity and being conscious of their platforms. Larson responded, quote, "I'm committed to self-improvement. I work at being the best person that I can be and using this platform for as much good as I can. That doesn't mean I don't make mistakes, but I'm very comfortable with that, allowing myself to learn from those mistakes." During the conversation, Renner looks completely annoyed, like he's holding back an eye roll. When it's his turn to speak, Renner says, quote, "I'm pretty accountable and responsible in my own life at any rate. Celebrity is not something I use any sort of platform to be more responsible or accountable, I suppose." Basically firing back at Larson's idea that being a celebrity means she needs to be a voice for social issues.
Next up, Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds and Jake Gyllenhaal became besties after they worked together on the 2017 sci-fi horror film Life. After the movie, the pair would attend events together and talk about one another in the press. It was very clear that they spent a lot of time together. Then all of a sudden the pair had a falling out and no longer talk. One source claims the falling out was due to competition. Apparently tension started once the pair realized that they were competing for similar roles. Currently, it seems that Reynolds is the one winning in the acting game, as he is the face of huge movies like Free Guy and Red Notice, while Gyllenhaal has not done anything notable in years. His last role of that caliber was in Spider-Man Far From Home in 2019. The source added, quote, "All their friends chalk up their falling out to show business. Ryan and Jake realize that in Hollywood, there are so many seats at the table." Years back when the pair were friends, Gyllenhaal told BBC's The One Show that he didn't feel threatened by Reynolds. Apparently he felt the dynamic between the two of them was perfect, and there was no competition or jealousy at that time. But now that Reynolds has become a much bigger star, people believe that Gyllenhaal's mind was the one that changed, and he started distancing from Reynolds because he was bitter. Next up, Robert Downey Jr. A little known fact about SJP is that she was in a long-term relationship with Robert Downey Jr. before she got married to Matthew Broderick. The pair dated for 7 years before Parker called it quits. Years later, they both revealed secrets about their relationship, and Parker exposed that she had to let him go due to his struggles with illicit substances. Parker then revealed in a Vanity Fair interview that the relationship taught her how to be a parent. She said, quote, "It taught me how I love, and what's the difference between loving and taking care of people, and what's necessary and what grown-ups should do and shouldn't do for each other. And maybe it taught me a little bit about being a parent too, because the things that I ended up caring about and the way I cared for Downey were things that might be more suitable for a parent." Although some felt these comments were endearing, many thought that they were actually patronizing, and that she was belittling Robert Downey Jr., insinuating that he wasn't able to take care of himself. Although Downey Jr. has been very respectful responding to these comments, and he largely agreed that his substance issues were the downfall of their relationship. And finally, himself. Jake Gyllenhaal completely exposed himself when he revealed that he doesn't make bathing a priority. He told Vanity Fair back in August, quote, "More and more I find bathing to be less necessary at times. I do also think that there's a whole world of not bathing that is also really helpful for skin maintenance, and we naturally clean ourselves." Although he wants everyone to know he is not dirty and that he brushes his teeth often. He said, quote, "I do believe because Elvis Costello is wonderful that good manners and bad breath get you nowhere, so I do brush my teeth." These comments were made at a time when celebrities were coming forward sharing that they do not bathe daily. The conversation first started when Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher revealed that they don't bathe their kids daily, only when they see dirt on them. But after the comments went viral, Gyllenhaal somewhat regretted them and clarified his comments to BuzzFeed. Apparently he was being sarcastic when he gave that last answer. He said, quote, "I don't know what it was. I answered a question where I was being sarcastic and ironic, and it's followed me around." Continuing to joke about the subject, he added, quote, "Unfortunately, I showered before I came here, so I'm sorry."
First up, Chris Hemsworth and Don Cheadle. Chris Hemsworth and Don Cheadle did an interview with Larson in 2019 to promote their latest film, Avengers Endgame. But it was clear during the interview that Hemsworth and Cheadle do not like Brie Larson, and anytime she spoke, they made their disdain very clear. While speaking to Entertainment Tonight, the trio got on the topic of stunt doubles, and Hemsworth stated he does a lot of his own stunts, but not the more dangerous things. Larson then chimed in that she does all of her own stunts because she believed that's what everyone else did. Hemsworth even mockingly praised her as the next Tom Cruise, as Tom Cruise famously does all of his own stunts. Many felt it was rude that she butted in to make those comments while Hemsworth was praising the work of his stunt doubles. And worst of all, the quartering later exposed that Larson did use a stunt double and she wasn't even telling the truth. Then the topic of which of their superhero characters was the strongest came up, and Larson replied, quote, "There's no competition for me because I'm the strongest." In response, Hemsworth said, quote, "Meh, we'll let her think that." Then there was an incident with Cheadle. While Larson was talking about something involving the three of them, Larson started hitting both men with their elbows in a playful way, kind of like this thing. But it was obvious that Cheadle was not having any of it, and even flat out told her to stop, not in a playful way. Body language experts broke down the interaction, and it was clear that he was not pleased. One expert named Mandy O'Brien made a video breaking down the entire interview, criticizing Larson's appearance and behavior during the Marvel movies press tour. During the interview with Cheadle and Hemsworth, O'Brien said that the men were relaxed, while Larson's body language was domineering and stiff. O'Brien felt that Larson was trying to be taller than the men, essentially trying to dominate them, which obviously is not a behavior that will develop a friendship between coworkers. O'Brien added, quote, "I guess in her mind, domination equals acceptance. In reality, submission will get you a lot further in friendship circles than trying to dominate and boss everyone around."
Next up, David Fincher. David Fincher and Jake Gyllenhaal worked together on 2007's Zodiac. But following the film's release, it's clear the pair had a lot of tension while filming. In one interview, Gyllenhaal hinted that he didn't have a good relationship with the director. Apparently, a big issue is that Fincher likes to get tons of takes from his actors so that he can be sure he's gotten the best one. Gyllenhaal doesn't like this method and believes it goes too far. Years later, in a new interview with the New York Times, Fincher cleared the air on the drama. Fincher says that at the time, Gyllenhaal was a hot new actor and had a lot of attention from the media. Because of this, he was very distracted and it was hard for him to work with someone that demanded perfection. Fincher added that Gyllenhaal would go to various film festivals over the weekend, and when he would show up to set on Monday, he would be scatterbrained.
Next up, fan boycott. Following all the backlash against Larson and the clear dislike of her by her co-stars, it was not a shock to see that petitions popped up trying to axe Larson from the next Captain Marvel film. Unfortunately for fans, the movie did get a sequel starring Larson, but it was clear that Marvel made some changes to please their fans and made the sequel named The Marvels instead, meaning instead of solely focusing on Larson's character, the movie would also showcase other Marvel superheroes. And it's very clearly a demotion from her last role. Based on the performance of this upcoming film, her time with MCU could end for good. And this is not the only project that Larson has been demoted in. The Marvel animated series named What If also demoted and replaced Larson in the show. The show features Marvel's biggest stars like Michael B. Jordan, Sebastian Stan, and Tom Hiddleston. However, Larson was shockingly replaced in the series by up-and-coming actress Alexandra Daniels. Daniels opened up to her fans during a Twitch stream about getting that part in Marvel's animated series, saying, quote, "When I auditioned, they were looking for a Brie Larson voice double, so they sent a clip of Brie Larson from the movie and I was like, cool, I can do that. And I did it, and like a month later, they were like, you booked it, and that was my first voice job ever." She continued that she thought she would not get any credit because she was just going to be a voice double. But then she was surprisingly given credit in the first episode and it was clear that she was going to be a real character. More bad news for Brie Larson.
Next up, Candace Bushnell. If you didn't already know, the Sex and the City series is based on the book by Candace Bushnell, so essentially Candace is the real-life Carrie. Bushnell's book was inspired by the column she wrote for the New York Observer in the 1990s. And after the feud started, she decided to weigh in on the feud between the ladies and seemingly took Cattrall's side over Parker's. Bushnell told the New York Post, quote, "I absolutely love Kim, but it seems she wants to do other things and she doesn't feel like doing the show. Maybe she doesn't want to be the character anymore. Maybe she doesn't want to put the Spanx on." Adding, quote, "In real life, those women are not those characters, they are the opposite. Sarah Jessica Parker, she's been married forever to the same guy, she's got kids. I don't know her very well, but she seems to be very family oriented in a way that Carrie is not." This comment could also be interpreted to mean that the ladies are not friends off camera as they are on camera, which we've obviously seen with Kim Cattrall. When asked if she was going to be watching the new revival, Bushnell said, quote, "Of course I'm going to watch it, I hope it runs for 6 seasons, and I get paid a bit of money."
Number 10, Cardi B. Although they may seem to be on good terms now, the two had what could only be called a mini feud in August of 2020. What happened exactly? Well, it all started when Doja did an Instagram live, showing herself rapping along to Cardi B's song Press. The way Doja Cat sang made it sound like she was mocking the way Cardi raps. Doja deepened her voice to match Cardi's, and it sounded like she was shouting in lowercase. But she knew she was going to ruffle a few feathers by joking around, and at the end of the video, she says, "I'ma get cancelled, but bro." I mean, the whole thing was hilarious, of course, but not everybody thought so. Cardi was unimpressed by the impersonation and she responded in a tweet that said, "Do anything for clout, moo," which was obviously a reference to Doja's viral hit Moo, where she dances around wearing a cow costume and sticks fries in her nose. The singer later explained that she never intended to be rude, she was just hyped up on caffeine. Quote, "I was making fun of the song, but it's a dope song. I acknowledged that as well, and people edited out the parts where I was acknowledging that it was great." The two have since buried the hatchet, but it's clear that at the time the impersonation really struck a chord with Cardi. Number 9, Plini. The Australian guitarist Plini revealed in 2020 that Doja Cat used a snippet of his song Handmade Cities without permission during her much talked about performance at the MTV EMAs. She performed a heavied up version of Say So, much to everyone's delight, which was a really cool remix because it sounded like it could have come straight from the world of rock and roll. But it caught the attention of Plini, and the star went on to accuse the singer of music theft as her song sampled his 2016 track without asking him. He wrote on Instagram, quote, "The lack of prior communication about it or proper credit upon release is disappointing, but not particularly surprising in a sector of the industry that is usually more interested in clout than creativity." Wow. Plini told Music Radar that he made a comment on Twitter about the incident and said that from there on, fans really did all the work and they brought all the outrage on his behalf. But apparently it's all water under the bridge now, and Doja Cat actually ended up apologizing for sampling sampling his song without permission. In fact, he said he woke up one day with a string of voice messages from Doja saying sorry for not crediting him properly and said that it was just surreal to see. Number 8. Azealia Banks. These days, we really need to take everything Azealia Banks says with a grain of salt, but no one has tried to warn us more about Doja Cat than her. The controversial rapper went on a huge rant on her Instagram story last year, insulting both her looks and her music. Quote, "Doja makes music for 10-year-olds and is very derivative. Cute girl, but her attempts at witty East Coast Roman reloaded flows are pitiful and not in the least bit amusing. And yes, she looked terrible before she lost weight." Wow. She went on to say that Doja has horrible bars and none of them make any sense. According to Banks, she adds nothing to the music world and needs to step up her pen game. Banks took the insults way too far when she was watching Doja's music video for Juicy. Quote, "This bee is disgusting." And she goes on to say her face looks drunk, tired, and lazy. The rapper also criticized photos from her Interview magazine cover shoot, saying that she deserved better and that there was a disgusting fridge in the background. Doja retweeted Azalea's comments, and in classic Doja fashion, she responded by just saying, "I'm farting in a big way." Her clapbacks are super random but strangely effective. Number 7. Conor McGregor. The UFC star got into an altercation with the singer that nearly turned physical. The story goes that McGregor and Kelly were both on the MTV Video Music Awards red carpet when things escalated very quickly. In video footage of the incident, McGregor could be seen lunging at Kelly, who was held back by security and his girlfriend Megan Fox. Seconds later, the fighter was escorted away, but not before he threw a cocktail in Kelly's direction. So what happened? Well, according to TMZ, McGregor walked up to say hello, asking for a photo. Kelly said something inaudible and rebuffed him with a shove, spilling some of McGregor's drink in the process. And then Kelly's security attempted to push him away, so that's when the fight broke out. Although the UFC fighter's spokesperson came out with a statement claiming he did not ask anyone for a picture, nor did he instigate the incident. For his part, McGregor downplayed the situation, and in an interview with Entertainment Tonight, he said that he just showed up and that he doesn't know what happened. Quote, "I only fight real fighters, people that actually fight. I certainly don't fight little vanilla ice white rappers. I don't even know the guy. I don't know anything about him except that he's with Megan Fox." Number 6. Lana Del Rey. Twitter literally exploded when Lana seemingly attacked Doja Cat and other successful black artists after they collectively made Billboard 100 history by becoming the first black women to hold the number 1 and number 2 spots. Lana posted on Twitter, quote, "Now that Doja Cat, Ariana, Camilla, Cardi B, Kalani, and Nicki Minaj and Beyonce have number 1s with songs about being sexy, wearing no clothes, effing, cheating." She then compared it to her music, where she wants to sing about things like toxic relationships without getting hate for it. She goes on to say that she's fed up with female writers and singers saying that she glamorizes domestic violence when she feels that that's not the case at all. Lana's comments incited a backlash from fans on social media who interpreted her statement as attacking Doja Cat for her music choices and being angry that she isn't allowed the same creative freedom by her own audience. Doja ended up posting a bizarre response to the controversial Instagram post with the comment, "Gang sunk that dunker," before it was quickly deleted. Fans pointed out that it basically meant that she thought Lana was speaking facts, but it's still up for interpretation.
Number 5. David Harbour. Like Lindsay Lohan, David Harbour was another celeb to throw some subtle shade at Leto's portrayal of the Joker. Back in 2018, David Harbour was getting ready to take on the role of Hellboy for the reboot of the series. When talking about the role, he started discussing how he hoped people would be on board for the reboot and that people would like his portrayal of the character. Harbour said, "I can like Michael Keaton's Batman and I can like Christian Bale's Batman. I can like Jack Nicholson's Joker and I can like Heath Ledger's Joker. There's other Jokers I don't have to like." The Joker he doesn't have to like obviously being in reference to Jared Leto's Suicide Squad character. It seems like most people who saw the movie, and even those that didn't, agreed with the Stranger Things actor's opinion. While it's fun for the viewing public to pick on a celebrity's performance, it's always amusing to see high-profile celebrities engaging in playground drama.
Number 4. Lord Pharaoh. When Doja Cat left the Billboard Music Awards in March with a handful of new trophies to add to her already impressive collection, not everyone thought that she deserved to win. Summer Walker's boyfriend Lord Pharaoh hopped on his Instagram story to share his thoughts. Quote, Billboard explained to me how a pop artist, Doja Cat wins 2 R&B categories, and she has 1 R&B song ever? He went on to call out Billboard and said that the numbers don't lie, so how did she win? The rapper and stylist then tried to hype up his girlfriend instead by saying, quote, how did Summer Walker not win any R&B women categories? I'll wait. Well, it's true that Summer lost out on Top R&B Artist, Top R&B Female, and Top R&B Album to Doja Cat, but Farrah was really just reiterating what people have been saying about Doja's music now for a long time. Since she became mainstream, there have been countless debates about how her sound should be categorized. Farrah went on to say that Doja's an amazing pop artist, but R&B is R&B, and actual artists in that category should have won, because it's about respecting the culture. He even went on to accuse the award show of being rigged and posted the hashtag "Quit robbing our black queens." Clearly, he was not very supportive of her win. Number 3, G-Eazy. This feud really started as more of a complicated love triangle. While G-Eazy was dating Halsey, MGK exposed some intimate details about his prior relationship with her. When Kelly went on The Breakfast Club in 2018 and made those disparaging comments about the singer, it was pretty clear that G-Eazy was not having it at all. The admission was also a really big deal because it was the first time either musician publicly acknowledged that they had a relationship that was more than platonic. Halsey got wind of the interview immediately and tweeted about how pathetic she thought Kelly was. But the feud didn't exactly start there, as 1 month before the interview, G-Eazy dropped the track Bad Boy, which includes the lyrics, MGK, please stop trolling me, get over me. You wanna be me, you're mad that you're not as big as me, I'm everywhere, I'm your nightmare, you can't get rid of me. Hours later, Machine Gun Kelly dropped his freestyle rebuttal online, saying that the only easy I F with is E. I F'd his girl, now turn that frat rap off, I get sick of hearing. He also accused Eazy of copying his style by bleaching his hair blonde and wearing an earring. But by 2019, it was clear to fans that the rappers had overcome their feud because Eazy invited Kelly on stage to perform with him at a nightclub in Las Vegas. Number 2, DJ Vlad. The podcast host went on No Jumper in 2020 and explained that after he posted an interview with Doja Cat, she reached out to him insisting that he take it down, and when he didn't, she blocked him. Vlad also went on the Off the Record podcast with DJ Academics, where he was asked if there was ever anyone he interviewed that immediately wanted the episode taken down. He immediately responded by saying Doja Cat. The interview in question was done a few years before she hit the mainstream, but it was only published on YouTube in 2020 at the height of her racist chat room scandal. After only a few days, the singer DM'd Vlad and requested that he take it down, and when he did not immediately respond, she just wrote, "It's like that, huh?" before blocking him. The podcast host even posted screenshots of the conversation as evidence. DJ Academics then jumped in with his own story about Doja and played a voice note that she sent him after he reported on her racism controversy. Quote, "She sent me a bunch of messages. It was weird. It was when I was covering the whole thing about like she was in some white supremacist chat rooms. So it looked like Doja was doing everything in her power to kill the story. But luckily the two hosts came with receipts." And coming in at number 1, Noah Schnapp. Yes, we absolutely have to talk about this one. The situation was just so bizarre, a lot of people can't seem to wrap their head around it. Doja Cat started beefing with Stranger Things star Noah Schnapp for revealing a private conversation in which the singer asked to be hooked up with his Stranger Things co-star, Joseph Quinn. A screenshot of their exchange went viral after it was shared by Noah in a deleted TikTok, much to Doja's annoyance. The 26-year-old singer then went live on TikTok, calling the 17-year-old's actions degrading, exploitative, and super embarrassing. She claimed that what he did was so unbelievably socially unaware and whack, even calling him a snake, saying that he shared information that she didn't feel comfortable with him sharing. So how did people respond to the drama? Well, everyone was surprised with just how hard Doja came down on the actor, given Noah's age and her history of flirting with celebrities online, because in previous tweets she openly expressed her attraction towards Joseph. People largely supported Noah in the feud, and although the two seem to be on better terms now, the drama showed the public a completely different side of Doja.
First up, Kim Cattrall. Easily the most famous feud that Sarah Jessica Parker has been a part of was with her longtime co-star Kim Cattrall. Kim and Parker, along with Kristen Davis and Cynthia Nixon, starred together on the hit show Sex and the City for several years, even starring in 2 hit movies together. But after the show ended, we learned that there was a lot of tension between the women throughout the entirety of the show, and there was an intense division between the women. It was 3 versus 1, with Kim Cattrall being the one left out. In a 2017 New York Post article titled "Inside the Mean Girl Culture That Destroyed Sex and the City," it explained that SJP and Cynthia Nixon became friends instantly as they had worked together in the past. Then Kristen Davis was welcomed into their group, but Cattrall was left out. Cattrall was closest with the show's creator and producer Darren Star, but was left lonely when he was replaced with a good friend of SJP's, Michael Patrick King. Then a report in The Telegraph revealed that Sarah Jessica Parker and Kim Cattrall feuded again when SJP was titled as an executive producer on the 2nd season, which made her salary much higher and gave her more control on the project. Kim tried to negotiate for a higher salary as a result, but was denied. This same report also looked back at the time in 2004 when Cattrall didn't sit with the other actresses at the Emmys, to which she said, quote, "Are we the best of friends? No, we're professional actresses. We have our own separate lives." Then in 2009, while the women were filming the first movie of the franchise, an article stated that Cattrall and SJP were no longer speaking. However, when they spoke about it themselves, the women shut down any rumors of a feud. We're assuming to help keep the integrity of the show together. But then when talks of the 3rd Sex and the City movie started, it was revealed that Cattrall was the reason that it was stalled. Apparently, Kim asked Warner Brothers to produce other movies that she was a part of, or she wouldn't agree to do the 3rd movie. Warner Brothers did not agree, and the movie never happened. Then in an interview later with Piers Morgan, Cattrall revealed that she never intended to go back to the franchise. She told Piers, quote, "We've never been friends, we've been colleagues, and in some ways that's a very healthy place to be, as you have a clear line between your professional life and your personal too." Adding, quote, "I really think Sarah Jessica Parker could have been nicer." But this feud is not over. Things picked up once again when Cattrall's brother passed away. Sarah Jessica Parker took to Instagram to share her condolences. She wrote in an Instagram comment, quote, "Dearest Kim, my love and condolences to you and yours, and Godspeed to your beloved brother." But Kim hated this comment so much that she decided to respond in a separate post. The post tagged Parker and said, quote, "Your continuous reaching out is a painful reminder of how cruel you really were then and now. Let me make this very clear, if I haven't already, you are not my family, you are not my friend." Clearly putting their feud on blast to the public for the first time ever, and making it clear that they had problems back when they were filming the show. Because of this long-running feud, Kim Cattrall is not a part of the new revival, and just like that, the show did not kill off Samantha Jones, rather they wrote that she moved to London following a fight with Carrie Bradshaw. From Cattrall's social media activity, it's clear she has no regrets about her choice not to be a part of the new show.
And finally, Brie Larson herself. Back in 2018, Brie Larson got in a huge scandal when she was accused of being a quote white man hater after a slew of questionable interviews. After she was cast as Captain Marvel, the predominantly male fanbase was not happy. According to Screen Rant, a small group of extremely vocal fans pushed back at the female-centric film. Then Larson made some comments about diversity and gender that made matters much worse. In 2018, while accepting an award at the Crystal and Lucy Awards, Larson decided to comment on the fact that so many movie critics are white men. She said, quote, "I don't need a 40-year-old white dude to tell me what didn't work for him." She went on to speak about the movie A Wrinkle in Time, saying that it was not made for white men, and she wants to hear what women of color think about the movie. She repeated that she, quote, "does not hate white dudes" throughout her speech, rather she just wants diversity. Even though she got some heat for those comments, she doubled down on them a year later in an interview with Marie Claire UK. She said about the topic of movie reviews, quote, "I started paying attention to what my press days looked like, the critics reviewing movies, and noticed it appeared to be overwhelmingly white males." These comments sparked backlash from men's rights groups who tried to start a boycott against Captain Marvel. In 2019, Cinema Blend reported that Larson clarified her comments by saying, quote, "What I'm looking for is to bring more seats to the table," although many felt she took a stance of exclusion rather than inclusion. Brie Larson also got the attention of all her haters when she launched her own YouTube channel. Her first video was called "So I Made a Decision," announcing the channel. It got great views, over 500,000 in less than a day, and over 127,000 subscribers. But the dislikes on the video were very high. In that time, the video raked up over 50,000 likes, but 18,000 dislikes, with some of the comments saying that the dislikes should be way higher. One comment read that when they first saw the video, it had 18,000 dislikes, but when they came back to it about an hour later, it only had 17,000 dislikes, so 1,000 less, meaning that she was potentially covering it up and getting rid of them somehow. This was even more proof for her haters that she was just a liar. Another scandal that got Larson in some serious heat was when she lied about her casting in Captain Marvel. Fans respect that she has to keep it a secret for the sake of contracts, but the way she went about it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. According to Cheat Sheet, a month before Marvel confirmed that Larson had been cast as Carol Danvers and the 2016 Comic-Con, a reporter asked her about the upcoming movie, trying to get the inside scoop on the role. To the question of if she was playing the role, Larson responded, quote, "Who's Captain Marvel?" She continued to play dumb, saying, quote, "So I would be playing a man? I'm down to play Chris Evans." Oh wait, no, Chris Evans is Captain America. Who's Captain Marvel? I have no idea what I'm talking about. Since they announced only a few days later, it's clear that she knew what was going on. But the annoying way that she went about it really rubbed people the wrong way.
Next up, Michelle Collins. A woman named Michelle Collins exposed Sarah Jessica Parker and her husband after Collins read a number of emails that Parker sent to her staff over the years. In the emails that Collins claimed were written by Parker, she told her staff to refill a tiny container of Vaseline with a small spoon or knife for her children's use. In the email, Parker stressed not to make the refill jar too big so that it doesn't clutter her home. Also, after this is done, the cutlery used for that task must be washed in a specific way. It must be hand washed using a paper towel, followed by a cycle in the dishwasher. In another email, Parker also requested that a bottle of face wash and Neutrogena body wash be continually replenished for her 14-year-old son, James Wilkie, in his personal shower. One of Parker's staff allegedly revealed that they are not allowed to buy multiples of any products and said they must check the levels of everything daily and only buy something new if it needs to be immediately replaced. Michelle Collins also claimed that when SJP's kids came down with pink eye, Parker sent the team instructions on how eye drops should be administered, including how hard the children should blink after. The last email shared showed Parker's shopping list for her family's Taco Tuesday dinner, which included, quote, "whatever meat goes in tacos." However, I did want to note this all could be a lie, because when Parker was asked to comment on the outrageous emails, Parker's team said they had no idea who Michelle Collins is. Jeanne Cadieu. Now that Jake Gyllenhaal's relationships are being analyzed in the media, people are realizing that Taylor's line in the All Too Well song is pretty accurate, and Jake Gyllenhaal has a tendency to date younger women. Jake Gyllenhaal's current relationship is with French model Jeanne Cadieu, who is 25 years old. But what makes things fishy is the fact that they have been dating since 2018, so Cadieu would have been about 22 years old when they first started dating. The pair are very private, and they only went public in May of this year. They walked the red carpet at the New York Film Festival in September. They were accompanied by Jake's sister Maggie and her husband Peter Skarsgård. Jeanne Cadieu is 25 years old, giving her and Jake a 15-year age gap as he is 40. In Taylor's song All Too Well, she added the line, quote, "I'll get older but your lovers stay my age." Which many think is pretty timely considering the age gap in his current relationship. And even though Gyllenhaal has been in a number of long-term relationships over the years, he admitted in one interview that he's only been in love twice. That got the internet scrambling to see who those women could be. Most speculate those women to be Reese Witherspoon and Kirsten Dunst. And finally, SJP herself. After marrying fellow actor Matthew Broderick, SJP has mothered 3 children with him. Since Parker was a mother for a part of her time on Sex and the City, she has opened up about how she's able to raise her kids while being a working mom. In 2010, Vogue asked her if she had any live-in nannies helping her, as her children had been photographed with nannies before. SJP responded, quote, "We painted our patio furniture ourselves, I make my children's food myself, we put together their high chairs ourselves, we do a lot ourselves. We do our own grocery shopping, we go to the market ourselves, I do my laundry." This was followed by a 2014 interview with Huffington Post, where Sarah Jessica said she caught the subway, quote, "every single day to and from work, every single day." She somewhat avoided answering the question, but later revealed that she's had a lot of help, but no live-in nannies. On the Girl Boss podcast, she said, quote, "All I do is organize people's lives and get them here and there." Fans are angry she makes it seem like the every woman running a home and a job like many modern women are. However, it's clear she's not like the rest of us, and she does have help she most likely just doesn't want to own up to.
Number 10. Scott Eastwood. We've heard complaints from many of Jared Leto's past co-stars, mostly about how he tends to take his method acting to the extremes, from presenting them with a dead pig to sending them inappropriate items in the mail. It's all a bit bizarre and uncomfortable. Co-star Scott Eastwood had something to say about the actor as well, him playing GQ Edwards alongside Leto in the movie Suicide Squad. Scott said that during filming he was afraid to approach Leto, saying that while he knew the actor, he definitely didn't recognize him in his portrayal of the Joker. Also saying that he was worried about affecting Jared's performance and getting in the way of the thing he had going on. While for many actors, method acting can be a good way to get into character and prepare yourself for the role, it may be too much if doing so puts everyone else on edge and makes them scared to even get near you. Number 9. Daniel Espinosa. Daniel Espinosa was the director of smash hit movie of the century Morbius, and it seems like Leto's strange behavior and overdone method acting on set was not exclusive to his role as the Joker. As Espinosa says, it was present on his set as well. He was apparently always in character, the director saying, "I almost never saw him getting into the role. It was more that Michael Morbius was on set. The moment he would exit his trailer, it would no longer be Jared Leto, and he would not want to be spoken to as Jared Leto." Espinosa does at least credit how this can be a very effective practice for many actors, and it did appear to work out for Leto. Obviously, we know his acting came out incredible as Morbius sold 1 more billion tickets at the box office on opening weekend. Espinosa also went on to say that Jared Leto got so committed that he became scared for him, and that it was apparently very intense. He would also apparently walk around on crutches almost all the time, which frustrated everyone on set as it caused major delays in the filming day. Number 8. Denis Villeneuve. Let's hear from another director that has worked with the actor, this time from Denis Villeneuve, director of the film Blade Runner 2049. He spoke about how the actor once again committed himself to his role by wearing contact lenses that made him almost completely blind, as the character Leto was set to portray is also blind. Villeneuve said, "We all heard stories about Jared, how he transforms into the characters, but even this didn't prepare me for what was to come. He entered the room and he could not see at all. He was walking with an assistant, very slowly. It was like seeing Jesus walking into a temple." Similar to Leto walking around on crutches on set for Morbius, his constant, almost permanently blind state around set frustrated people as well, as he would always have to walk with an assistant and move very slowly. It made filming very difficult and slowed down the production process. But hey, anything for the role, I guess.
Number 7. Nas. No one has called out Doja's problematic behavior more than Nas. In fact, he made a whole diss track calling out the controversy surrounding her in 2020, particularly where footage of her on TinyChat was leaked, which is an online chat room with alleged ties to racist discourse. Nas collaborated with Hit Boy and came out with a song called Ultra Black, where he criticizes Doja for allegedly being involved in said racist behavior. Quote, "We going ultra black, unapologetically black, the opposite of Doja Cat." The track was made to be an uplifting reminder to the unignorable contributions made by the black community, which is why he called out Doja Cat in the song, who faced a significant backlash in 2020, amid claims she criticized her South African heritage in several online chat rooms. In June of that year, she again defended herself against racism allegations after she was accused of being friends with white supremacists. Quote, "I just realized how stupid that narrative is. My friends aren't racist in chat rooms, my friends on TinyChat are not effing white supremacists. They love me, I love them, they're loving, and that's it. You won't find anything on them because you're effing stupid." Although she tried to shut down the allegations, almost 2 years later, it's something that the internet still remembers.
Number 6. Vicky Marie Taylor. Now let's move on to what adult actress Vicky Marie Taylor had to say about the guy that she met at a party. She said that way back in 2002, she and 3 other female dancers had been invited to a post-concert party, Jared Leto being in a relationship with Cameron Diaz at the time. The girls were dancing and she had even given Leto a dance when he requested that she move over to his brother. When she did, Leto apparently came up behind her and grabbed her by the throat aggressively, whispering a statement into her ear. She said that it was an uncomfortable and weird situation, and they were only there for about 10 more minutes before they were requested to leave as they had to get back on the road for their next gig. This isn't the first time that it's been reported that Leto has gotten a bit creepy, unsettling, and aggressive during a meeting.
Number 5. Summer Rae. The model has opened up about the way her relationship with Machine Gun Kelly ended last year, and made the bombshell claim that he started dating Megan Fox while they were still together. Summer and Kelly dated for 3 months until they split up at the end of April of 2020. But she claims that while Megan and Kelly were filming their Midnight in the Switchgrass movie, she was actually still dating him. She went on Logan Paul's podcast saying, quote, "He did kind of cheat on me with Megan Fox if you look at the timeline. I waited in the hotel the whole time while he's filming with her, and I'm not really thinking anything of it. I thought she was older and had kids and was married and stuff. But it wasn't the so-called cheating that got her so fired up. Summer actually said that she was way more upset by the way that MGK exploited the end of their relationship on Twitter. She went on to say that she got death threats for weeks and weeks after from his cult following, and revealed that when she confronted Kelly about why she wasn't allowed on set for his music video, Bloody Valentine, he claimed it was COVID restrictions, before she later found out that Megan Fox was his romantic interest for the video, which is pretty bad when you think about it.
Number 4. David Ayer. As had already been mentioned, Jared Leto's actions on the movie Suicide Squad were a bit unsettling, mostly due to the actor's penchant for method acting and completely losing himself in a character. While a lot of his co-stars commented on what it was like being on set with Leto, and even what it was like being at home and receiving disturbing things in the mail from him, director David Ayer also had something to say. We've heard from a few different directors from some of Leto's other films, so here's what Ayer said. He constantly has to give birth to himself. He goes away, he comes back. He shoots, he goes away. The Joker is something you have to be, and you can see how exhausting and painful it is for him to be this character. But you can feel it when he comes to work. The crew feels it, everyone feels it. It's like the birds stop flying. He's fucking terrifying. Yep, so looks like Will Smith was correct in saying that it felt like Leto went full Joker.
Number 3. Jack Harlow. It's easy to see why the rapper was annoyed with Doja Cat's behavior, as many people were saying that she pretty much embarrassed him on Instagram Live. The incident was more than a little awkward, and it all went down in March of this year, when Jack decided to shoot his shot at the singer and she swerved him in the best way possible. So basically, they seemed to be having a regular conversation on Instagram Live, but then Jack told Doja that he needed to talk to her because apparently his fans believed the two of them were dating. He wasn't really subtle about hitting on her, and he even tried to compare his height difference to her boyfriend, who apparently looked a lot like him. But Doja wouldn't let Jack get his entire message across, as she quickly said that her wig was coming up and abruptly left the chat. To make matters worse, after her quick exit, the 24-year-old actually admitted that he liked her. Quote, "Oh man, I've had a crush on her." Although it was an awkward situation that was witnessed by the whole internet, there's probably no love lost there, as Doja later revealed in an interview that she didn't intentionally swerve him, and clarified that her wig was peeling off and that's why she had to leave so suddenly.
Number 2. Joel Kinnaman. Get out your sunglasses because we're throwing shade over here once again. And of course, if you hadn't guessed by now, it's about Leto's Joker. Actor Joel Kinnaman was doing a press tour for his upcoming show while also working on scenes for the past movie's soft reboot, The Suicide Squad. He was asked his thoughts on Joker and Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal of the character, and he took the opportunity to stir up some drama and throw some shade towards Leto. The interviewer asked if Kinnaman felt like he was cheating on Leto, and he responded with, "No." Who? Joel, of course, having co-starred in Suicide Squad with Leto and obviously knowing who he is, but sounds like he's pretending he doesn't and maybe does not want to be associated with the actor. He then went on to highly praise Phoenix's take on the Clown Prince of Crime. Number 1. Jared Leto. Sometimes the easiest way to know someone's character is from that person themselves. Finding out the truth about Jared Leto and how he seems to be a bit of an out-there personality didn't really take any deep digging, and much of it has come from his own mouth. So let's go through a few of the most bizarre things Jared Leto has done that should have given us a sign about who he really is. At a concert in Brazil, he flipped off a fan who didn't know the correct lyrics to his songs. He has told both a fan and a sound technician to F off, said that playing the Joker was extremely difficult and was like giving birth out of his prick hole, said he lies whenever possible during interviews, he was rude to his henchman co-stars on Suicide Squad, requesting them to do ridiculous tasks for him, and he once walked out of an interview after yelling expletives at the reporter. And that's really just the tip of the iceberg. You can find plenty more if you want to look it up for yourself.